All right, hello guys, I'm Akriti. I'm going to talk about Airbyte's tool and how our product works with data. And as you may know, that Airbyte is a data movement product. So essentially we take a source, any data source, and we send it to a certain destination, a warehouse, a lake, a certain type of vector database, which is why we're doing this thing with Zilliz today, because I mean, they're the world's leading vector database. So we're going to do this. So basically, the reason why this is so important is because you can't really build an AI application without having some sort of data that's in a certain format, right? So unstructured data right now is grown to projected to grow approximately 80%, and it's already so much because there's audio files text files, images files, right, that are so unstructured. And what happens is when you perform certain operations on this data, you need it to be a certain way. So when Airbyte comes in is basically transporting that data from any source. We can think about Google Drive, ingesting data from Google Drive and putting it into an application and using RAG on it, right? So in order to build an AI pipeline or a RAG pipeline specifically, you do need to structure your data in a certain way, and you need to move it and have these capabilities that are kind of empowered by how we send our data from the source to the destination. So essentially, we like to call it from siloed tools to integrated platforms, because siloed tools are just without having the movement layer, it's kind of useless. So a good way to put it is this is how the data sources are, right? So it can be structured as well. It can be databases, business apps, e-commerce apps. And the way that we come in is we process that data, and we have connectors that actually connect the source to the destination. So today we're just going to talk about a simple way in which Airbyte transports data from Asana to Milvus. The reason why I chose Asana is because I wanted to demonstrate an example of building an app. Imagine if you had to build a RAG app today, right? In an hour, you have to spin up something really quick. You want to create a list, a to-do list that's prioritized, and it's based on what you want to accomplish that certain day. So it basically ingests data from your Asana, and it pushes it to the destination, which is Milvus VectorDB, which is their product. So I'm gonna just demo the app really quick and show you what I mean. So let's just. So this is this is a very silly example of it, but essentially what I'm trying to do is demonstrate how this is just built in Next.js, by the way. So the reason I chose Next.js is because it kind of abstracts away the server complexity. It's a serverless platform, a library. So basically you can run your backend and your frontend at the same time with one command without having to do all that Python jazz. And I know a lot of you like Python, so it's great, but yeah. So what I'm trying to demonstrate here is specifically how if I want to search for a certain topic, or if I want to search for a certain task. So for example, right now in my Asana, I have a lot of tasks for apps that I'm building as side projects. So one of the side projects I have is a doctor's salary dashboard. The other project I have is a front end. So I'm just gonna type in a keyword. We're just gonna put doctor. And it's gonna give us a matching task based on vector similarity search. And then we can do I don't know, AI. And then it would give me that, and also the project associated with it, right? So that's all data from my Asana. Now, this may seem pretty simplistic, and in reality, it is very simplistic, but the issue is that it's really hard to actually transport data from one layer to the next, and that's kind of where Airbyte comes in. The core of our product is that we have these sources, and we have destinations, and the way that we build them is through these connections. So we can establish any connection from any source, and there's hundreds of connectors, a lot of destinations, right? So an example of that would be for example, if you were to set up a source, we can ingest data from all these things. So for the sake of this, I'll just do Asana. So we can add this here. We can authenticate your Asana account through here. So you would do all that. And then you can set up a connection that way. So I'm just going to show you how Asana would look as a source. Yeah. So basically, I guess the core of Airbyte's product in general is that we kind of abstract away the complexity of you having to put in the requests manually. So if you're doing HTTP requests and you have to put in the API and stuff like that, we have AI Assist as well. So that's one of our products where you can put in an API URL and it'll auto-populate those requests for you whenever you're building a connection. So in this case, I already have the connection built because it takes time to sync, and I don't want to waste time in this demo syncing that. So right now I have a connection from Asana to Milvus, as you can see. And so the way that this is working is that we have certain level of streams that are being translated from Asana to Milvus. And it's projects, tags, tasks, users, right? These are just streams that I chose to aggregate, but of course there's a lot of different things that you could have chosen, right? So so there's attachments. These are all things from Asana that you can transport as metadata to Milvus. So the way that it would get sent to Milvus is basically it would, so this is the cluster. So essentially we have this cluster running right here, and I already set this up before the demo, but obviously you would have to do the setup and you'd have to establish the collection and stuff. So this is the collection, and basically you can see that there's data that's been vectorized and populated here, and that's been done through our Airbyte pipeline that we have. So the way that it's been done is it's been set up in this stream format. And if you see here, you can schedule certain jobs every 12 hours, 24 hours. You can do a cron job. You can also manually sync your data in the real time. So if you want to sync your data right now and you want to have new tasks from Asana to send to Milvus, you can do that as well. So there's a lot of capabilities in Airbyte's platform itself that kind of makes it simple to send any amounts of data in one go. And so that's the core of our product. And I guess I'm going to go through the way that I kind of approached building this app, and I guess the reason I'm showing this as well is because you can use this architecture to build your own RAG app or similarity search or semantic search app that actually takes in any data source to a destination through Airbyte as well. So Airbyte is just a certain layer of it, but of course we have the AI processing happening through OpenAI, and we have the task vector store. This is just a service, and the Asana service, and the task vector store is basically just sending those embeddings, and that response is being generated, right? So Next.js, is just simply a medium of building it, but there's obviously a lot of ways to build it. And the way that I chose to do it is have API routes that render those results to the client, to the web interface that we saw. So that's pretty much it. Yeah. Great. Thank you.